Welcome to this presentation of EG7. Today we're going to get into a little bit more about our entrepreneurs that run this company and is the heart and soul of EG7. The latest time we have been in some great growth. We've been adding companies, we've been adding great entrepreneurs, we have a stronger pipeline than we've ever seen before. The last few years we've been mainly focused on building our ecosystem and the platform, and something we have talked about, and now we're really getting ready. Big Blue Bubble is the latest acquisition that came in to the company, and they've been super excited so far just to be able to take advantage of world-class marketing, publishing, and just a network of developers that they can learn from. For me, it's super happy because this is what I wanted to create. I wanted to create this ecosystem where developers and companies could become stronger together. That's why we're now going to have a little bit of a closer look into these entrepreneurs and hear their stories. First up, we're going to have a look at world-class marketing in Alan, the CEO and co-founder of Petrol.
Ben and I have been friends for 23 years. We met when he was an intern and I was a illustrator / art director, and we were in the movie business. And from the beginning, we immediately bonded over our love of games, and my career had started being the first cover illustrator for Video Games magazine.
So Petrol was founded 17 years ago by Alan and myself. Up until that point, we had seen fairly static marketing happening within the gaming space, and we wanted to apply some of our theatrical knowledge and theatrical background into the gaming space.
It was really born out of the passion of how do we do this differently? How do we take all this incredible theatrical experience that we've had? At that point, we'd probably worked on over 1,000 movies. And how do we bring that into the entertainment space? And we saw at the turn of the millennium the potential for interactive entertainment, and that it was just in its infancy.
The concept was, let's innovate in this space, let's pioneer a different direction for video game marketing, and let's make sure that we try to bring more emotion into what's happening in the gaming landscape.
Our company has been incredibly fortunate to work with things that may seem small or obscure in the beginning, but have grown to be incredible giants, and we'd like to humbly take a little bit of the credit for that along the way. We worked on projects like League of Legends when it was just a handful of guys that we met at the Game Awards, when they had a staff of less than 20 people. And we've worked on things like God of War from the very beginning, and franchises that have become so iconic in the universe of games. And we've been fortunate that those companies have stuck with us. The art on the wall behind me is a campaign that we've done for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. It's our 13th Call of Duty, and that's among some of the other campaigns I'll talk about in a moment. But that growth and what Petrol has done with our campaigns is that we've become an expert in the space of how do you position games in the market so these games have a chance to succeed. So some of the recent campaigns that we've done and some of the work that you'll see on Petrol's Reel, it goes from massive titles like Assassin's Creed Valhalla,
From Ghostwire to Doom to JBL to Call of Duty,
Modern Warfare. We launched Warzone,
Resident Evil. We've worked on Metal Gear Solid. We have worked on Uncharted. We've worked on God of War. We've worked on Fortnite. We've worked on PUBG. You can also see that there's quite a bit of diversity from working on mobile games to console games to PC games to consumer electronics.
Petrol, Ben, and myself and the entire team are the most excited about this partnership with EG7. because now we can take that knowledge and get straight to the core of success. That's what this relationship is all about. The vision that Robin and Alex and the whole team at EG7 had from the very beginning, from the onset of sitting down with them and talking about this unique structure of having Petrol be the services arm of this incredible collection of talent, it's a really unique approach. It hasn't been done before in the space. And what it is, it's really a formula for success. Because the same way that expertise that we have is applied to these massive titles as well as the indie titles we work on, we can bring that to the EG7 group's owned titles. And that expertise is going to be invaluable when Sold Out is bringing their titles to market, and when some of the new development teams that are going to be joining EG7 in the future are bringing their games to market. We can help them avoid the mistakes that we've seen other people make in the past, and we can bring the expertise of building a campaign without having to go through all those layers and really bring that formula for success to the group. That's incredibly exciting for us, and everybody at Petrol is excited about it because it's an opportunity to do things and to do them very directly.
I think it's clear that Petrol as a company is a great and important piece of our platform. This is a company that for 17 years has delivered some of the best marketing material in the world. So next up, we're going to have a look at Gary, the CEO and co-founder of Sold Out, our publishing unit.
Sold Out's an interesting story based on over 30 years of experience and learning in games. In my own particular case, I launched Computer and Video Games magazine and was publisher of it. So a number of magazines came off the back of that. I also crossed the fence into the industry, the gaming industry. So I worked with a Japanese company called Imagineer. One of the best things was making a SNES game with Maxis that was SimCity. Did very well for us. I then started Sold Out as a separate business. I came across my business partner, James Cato, who was working in distribution. So we learned to sell into 70 territories with limited resources, but great results. So that's the nice side of the business. We got people like Sarah Huxma joining us. Sarah's got experience through Square Enix, so she's been marketing there. David Walker, who's worked 20 years in retail through Virgin Interactive. So there's a lot of names. Those have attracted key partners for us, like Team 17. We've worked on Overcooked, so some really good titles, very strong titles. We really focus on publishing because that's what's important in this market. And what you get from us is the knowledge to avoid the pitfalls. So there are lots of things you can do making a mistake and launching a company. We help you avoid some of those mistakes. I think with Sold Out, what really works for us is that we're tried, tested and proven. So much so that the key players in the industry come to us and work with us. If you're in one of our partners at the moment, the great thing for me is you stay with us, and none of them have left when I know people would like to attract them. With Team 17, we're very happy to work with them. So the mindset in many of these people is to focus on the digital. We help them on the physical releases, and what we're doing for them is taking them into the market in a really strong way. So with Overcooked, great sales records, it's fantastic. We work with David Braben, who's been in the industry since Elite, but he's bought us Jurassic Park. We're going to work on new formats with him on his releases, which I'll come on to later. We're very strong with Rebellion, who do one of the best shooters in the market, which is Sniper. So those guys stay with us because they know we make money for them. Going forward, I think it's interesting that the split of our titles. So we're on the next generation consoles, we're on existing, and we've even worked back catalogue. So we know what we're doing in the games market, and we like to take digital and physical. Some people choose either or. We want both sets of revenue. We're probably operating at the level of an Electronic Arts in terms of the number of titles. There's 15 titles that come from the main part of the business. Then there's Disjunction. There's our digital releases, which like No Straight Roads and Kiwi, things you're going to hear a lot more about. So we're really across the whole span of publishing. What was really nice in our relationship with EG7 was that we weren't forced into this. It was something that just came naturally after 2 years of working together. What I think they bring for us is a different focus and more experience. So when I look at Team 17, part of their skill set is working with developers. They'll bring a developer in and do tasks for them, which as a publisher it's difficult for us to do. We don't have those assets, and we do have that with EG7. They also bring in exciting things like Antimatter. Those guys, we can talk to them about the game, we can target the game, we can change things in the game, we can go to the market and find out differences. So having those assets, that knowledge, is really valuable to us. Also recently we bought Big Blue Bubble, a Canadian company who's long established, but they bring into our skill set mobile. And we haven't focused on that previously, although we've got experience of it. So those things are really valuable. You then add on top something like Petrol, an LA-based agency working with Bethesda and some of the finest accounts out there. And that skill set all packaged together really makes a tight outfit to hone your publishing and to maximise your profits.
We feel that Sold Out is a great asset. It's a publisher that has never lost money on any of their titles. It's used by Team 17, Frontier and Rebellion, and of course by our own games. Next up, we're going to have a look at Big Blue Bubble's co-founder Demir, who runs the company as the CEO. It's a Canadian game developer who is expert in free-to-play.
Big Blue Bubble started back in 2004 during the golden age of mobile gaming, specifically feature phone games at that point. This time I managed to put together a group of very experienced people. A lot of them worked with me previously in Digital Illusions, on Battlefield franchise, and multiple Nintendo titles. So we decided at one point, okay, it's time to start a new studio, and mobile games going to be our first thing. Things started really quickly for us moving forward. We developed a couple of relatively simple games that had been picked up right away by Nokia, Sony Ericsson, a couple of other big players in the industry that allow us to get very fast growth early on. We developed a lot of titles, more than 100 titles. A lot of them were big branded titles, but also, especially in the last 5-6 years, 100% of our developed games are our own IP. The biggest one being My Singing Monsters, that's going on for 8 years now. The game is growing stronger than ever. We have about 2 million monthly active users, and they're really active. One of the most vibrant and active communities that I've ever experienced. So passionate about the game. We're super excited to join the EG7 group and all the studios. They're already part of it. And we're seeing multiple opportunities and synergies between our companies where we can work together, where we can really strengthen both of our studios. I think for us, the main thing will be our access to their marketing capabilities and the publishing department that we currently don't have, especially with the very heavily focused we're having recently on console games and launching console titles. We can bring a really big brand that still have room to grow for growth in multiple aspects and multiple areas. Very strong knowledge and experience with free-to-play market and mobile market, and very strong analytics and business intelligence group with the tools that are one of the most sophisticated in the industry today.
So obviously we're super excited about having Big Blue Bubble join us. It's an expert in free-to-play that can help the group in many ways. But also it's a great team that has delivered over 100 titles. And it's a profitable company that now have a lot of excitement coming into the group. Next up, we're going to have a look at Rich Barham, now the head of studio at Antimatter Games.
So Antimatter Games was formed by a group of people who wanted to deliver great games in a great place in Cornwall, and also to have an environment whilst building those games that people would want to work in, that they'd want to stay in. And we've been very successful at doing that in the last 6 years. I'd spent quite a long time in AAA studios and publishers working with a number of big titles. And so the combination of those gave us a really good springboard to go to the next level. We worked on some other titles, and some of those had won awards, been very well received, which set us up well to show what we could do on Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. And Rising Storm 2 Vietnam also went very, very well indeed. It covered its development costs and pre-sales, sold over 1 million units, and is critically acclaimed across the board. So we're very proud of our achievements there, but we didn't want to rest on our laurels. And so for us, the next step was looking at a similar title that showed our expertise, but was bigger, better, faster. And we have that in 83, which is our massive Cold War shooter that we're working on at the moment. And the audience are extremely passionate about that. They're an audience that know that we can deliver this type of content and deliver what they want, listen to them, do all the right things. On the other side of things, we have IGI Origins, which is a reboot of the titles IGI and IGI 2 that were released in the early 2000 period. We know that people are very excited about that. We are in a position whereby, the trailer got 1.4 million views and people are asking constantly about what's happening with this. So we're working really, really hard to build something that exceeds expectations of the community and really delivers a next generation experience of IGI for them. Working on both these titles, we really needed an international partner who had a lot of experience, who had experience in areas where we weren't big enough to have that, who understood our culture, understood where we were coming from, and were, a great partner for us. So the acquisition of Antimatter Games by EG7 was a meeting of minds, and it's something that ever since has been a great opportunity for us to become a part of a bigger and better whole and to deliver bigger and better things.
Antimatter Games is a company that has always delivered success into the marketplace, with over 1 million sold copy of every release they've done so far. The latest, Rising Storm Vietnam, was the fastest selling in the Red Orchestra series, and it also got the highest acclaim with 80 Metacritic. Next up, we're going to have a look at Toadman Studios, world-class work for hire, and also some extremely exciting new IP. Ola, is the studio head, is going to get you through it.
Toadman Studios was founded 2013 as primarily a work-for-hire studio, and we worked on games like Warhammer Vermintide, Dead Island, and Killing Floor. Toadman Studios have a diverse portfolio today. We're building Evil v Evil, Minimal Effect, as well as Block and Load 2, which is based on Block and Load 1, which is loved by millions of people around the world. We're also helping Antimatter Games on 83 and IGI, and all of these projects are self-funded projects with a high potential of revenue. But we're also still doing some work for hire, so we're helping Fat Shark with one of their projects, which are not yet announced. But we're balancing stable revenue flow from work for hire, but primarily focusing on the high potential of our internal projects. One of the greatest things with being part of the EG7 family from a developer perspective is that we get access to world-class talent within the different areas of game development. So we have Petrol, which is world-class when it comes to marketing for both games, but also other areas. And we have Sold Out with their publishing knowledge, helping us to understand which markets we should aim for. This is one of the things that makes me the most excited over being part of the EG7 family, as well as seeing how it continues to develop. So we're very hyped to get Big Blue Bubble into the family and getting to know their experience when it comes to free-to-play and using analytics to improve the different games.
I'm extremely grateful to work with these talented people that has been in this industry for so long and put their hard effort into building this group. This is the opportunity, and I truly feel, it's easy to say, but this is truly the start of something new. We are finally there with the platform. We have these great games coming out. We have these studios that are super excited and ready to pounce. This is our moment, and we feel that we're running faster than ever. More pipelines in M&A, more games coming out, more marketing, and getting better at everything we do for every moment. And I'm not saying it's easy, because it's not. We're taking many hours, working day and night, and it's creating an extreme amount of hard work from every single person in this company. But I make sure every day to try my best to deliver both to you as shareholders and to them as employees of EG7 so that we can become a world-leading global group in video games.